Okay, so I have Jasmine Kelley on the phone. She's coming to you from Delta CCF in Mississippi. You're in Greenwood?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so uh, Jasmine Kelley, along with Yakisha Blackman, Willow Blackman, Jaquez Porter, and Jarvis Cook, they were all arrested uh, back in, what was it, 2020 or 2021?
Yeah, 2020.
Right. Okay. So I was on the road. I was still kind of new to YouTube at the time. I was driving through Pascagoula and I was looking for stories to vlog about, and I seen the story involving you and the victim in this crime, which is Madison Harris. I did a
Okay.
video. I did a vlog. I went to the street, the house where the murder occurred, and then I just basically told this story of what happened. Now, uh, you and the others were arrested and charged in this crime. So we're gonna kind of talk about what occurred. Before we begin, take me back 3 months before the crime occurred. So, who are you? What grade are you in? What school do you go to? What do you do for fun? Like, who was Jasmine Kelley back then?
Okay, I was 15 years old. I was in modeling school. The name of the modeling school was called Madison, and I would go to that every weekend. And I was in ninth grade, and I had a brother that was in 12th grade. I had just graduated. I mean, he was about to graduate, and I had a sister. She was traveling, seeing nursing. My mom. I don't really know about my dad because he's not really in my life. But at that point in time, I was just trying to get myself together.
Okay, just like a 15-year-old, not really sure what you want to do, but you have the modeling thing, so that's what you want to get into. How were your grades in school?
Well, I had a C in math, but A's and B's and everything else.
Okay, so you were a good student. You're not running the streets like being
No,
wild.
my mom wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, okay, so your mother was pretty strict about, like, did you have a curfew? Like, you got to be at home at a certain time?
Yeah, but at that point in time, I was really trying to do right by her, but I was kind of giving her hell early in 2019. I was like, smoking weed, hanging out with people older than me, sneaking out of the house and stuff. But I feel like, I was kind of doing her wrong, so I slowed down.
Okay. So let's go back to your relation to the victim in this crime, Madison Harris. So you guys were friends.
Yeah, she was my best friend.
Okay, your best friend. And I'm imagining as best friends, you guys hang out a lot.
All day, every day, all night, do everything together.
Okay. Did you guys go to the same school?
Yeah, we did. She was in the grade above me. So I was in ninth grade, she was in 10th grade.
Okay. Madison, was she popular in school?
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
all of us kind of were.
Okay. So you guys are like the cool kids of your school.
Yeah.
All right. Uh, so let's go back about maybe a couple weeks. So your relationship with Madison is good. Like, you guys are best friends. There's no falling out. There's no bickering, no jealousy. Have you guys ever fought like before, or over anything, or?
No, we kind of agreed on everything. Like, we just, our vibe and our energy was amazing.
Okay. So let's go back to, like, just before the crime occurred. So tell us what happened. Like, what was going on? What did this all happen over?
Okay, so 2 weeks before the crime occurred, Willow and Keisha was hanging out with these guys that I told them were no good because I actually was in a relationship with one of the guys. His name was Marquise May. So Willow was sleeping in the house until her other family members came to get her, and the guys was trying to find a ride, and Keisha was at work. So the guys left the house, and Maddie used to always keep her window up and unlocked, and so did we, because, you know, we all used to hop through each other's window whenever we needed each other and stuff. So the guys saw that the window was up, so they went through her window, saw her Xbox, her weed, her money, and a couple of other things that I don't remember, but Maddie thought that it was Willow and Keisha. So the next day after that, she came through their window and stole a bunch of their stuff because she thought it was them.
Okay, so this all occurred over somebody climbing into Madison's room and stealing some of her belongings.
Yes.
Okay, and so she thought that Keisha and Willow, who are sisters, she thought that they were responsible for breaking into her house and stealing her stuff.
Yes.
Did anybody find out who was the actual culprit?
No, they didn't. I mean, it was kind of said in court, but it never really, mattered.
Okay. So Madison goes to the Blackman's home, their room, and she just takes whatever because she feels that they're responsible. So why would she think that they robbed her?
I mean, I have no idea. I do know. They weren't really talking at that point because Madison had a boyfriend that she was really spending time with more often, and they were spending more time with those guys, and I was spending time getting my life together. So all of us kind of ventured off from each other, but me and Maddie stayed texting every day.
Okay. So let's go back to the day the crime occurred. So what's going on at this time?
Okay, it was Mardi Gras break. People on the coast in Louisiana get Mardi Gras break. So I spent that time. At the time, I had a girlfriend. Her name was Leah, and my cousin came down from Law, Mississippi, where I'm originally from. So she would have to travel every weekend to come and see me. So that weekend was here. It was Sunday, and then Monday morning they left, and I tried to go with them back to Law, but my mom said no. So that morning I remember waking up eating fried chicken and red beans and rice from the night before as dinner, and then I was kind of just on the couch laying down, and then I got a text from Willow and Keisha, and they were basically saying, "Hey, do you want to hang out today?" So after they sent me that text message, I was like, sure. And so then they video chatted me, and they was like, okay, well, we're not going to hang out today. You'll probably come by later or something. I was like, okay. So I went to Mom's room, and we do this thing where sometimes, once or twice every week, we lay up in her bed and watch TV. So that's what I was doing. And at the time, my auntie was staying with me, and she came in the room and was like, your friends are at the door. No warning, nothing. They just came. And so I was like, Mom, can I go with them or whatever? She was like, you can only go for an hour or two. And so I remember going outside. I had my PJs on still. I had my tank top on, a blanket on, and some pajama pants. And I remember getting in the car with all of them. And as we were driving off, they was like, okay, so we're going to Maddie's house to get this stuff back or whatever. And so I'm like, why didn't y'all tell me that or whatever? And they was like, are you coming tonight? And I was like, okay, well, whatever. So they were telling me, we're going to drop you off down the road. You're going to go up in there, and you're going to see who's in the house and stuff. So I was like, I really don't want to do this. In my head, I'm thinking, I really don't want to do this. But at the time, I was like, I don't know what I was thinking. I was kind of like, really, Jazz, you're about to do this? I had that gut feeling then, but I didn't really follow my feelings. Okay, so they ended up dropping me a few houses off down
Wait,
from
wait,
her house.
wait. Hang on, really quick. Hang on. So, let's back up a little bit. Who's in the car?
Okay. Jaquavius, Yakisha, and Willow, and me.
Okay, so who's Jaquez?
Jaquez is the dark-skinned guy. He's the one that got life.
Okay, and then you said Jarvis. Who's Jarvis?
Jarvis, he was the driver. That was Jaquez's best friend. He got 25 mandatory years.
Okay, so the sisters, the Blackman sisters, Keisha and Willow, they're telling you that we're gonna go to Madison's house and take back the stuff that she stole from us. How do they know that she took anything from them?
Okay, well, when Madison was in Keisha's room, she was sleeping in her bed, and she woke up to see Madison throwing stuff out of her window, her stuff. So that's how she knew.
Oh, so she literally seen her doing it.
Yeah.
Why didn't she say anything to her at the time?
They were into an argument on Facebook and Snapchat and stuff, going back and forth. They ended up, bringing it to social media, and then they blocked each other. So I guess she kind of sat there and thought, like, I'm going to get my stuff back,
Okay, so you're telling me you're best friends with Madison. So with Keisha and Willow, are you guys best friends too, or are you good friends, or how do you know these sisters?
Well, we were best friends. I've been knowing them since I was 7 years old.
Okay, so you're kind of pulled between Madison and Keisha and Willow because you're besties with all three. Why did they want you to go with them? I mean, there's already 4 people. What do they need you there for?
Right. I still have no idea to this day.
Okay. So you're in the car with it's all 5 of you guys together. You're going to her house. What happens next?
Okay, they dropped me off down the road from her house, and I walk to her house, and I knock on her window, and she's like, hey, like she was excited to see me. And she ends up going to her front door to let me in. So she has a Ring doorbell camera, you know what I'm talking about, the Ring doorbell cameras. So the camera shows her letting me in. And we go and sit in her room, and I remember she was painting her nails. One side was a light red, and the other hand was a dark red. And she was asking me my opinion, like, which nails do I like? And I remember we were listening to music, and she ended up rolling a weed blunt. And next thing I know, her boyfriend Paul comes over. And so I didn't know until, all of this happened, but she had texted him because she had this feeling, I guess, as well, like, why is Jasmine over here? Because we hadn't been hanging out for like a week or two. And so she texted him, and he came over because, she wanted him to come over while I was there. And so the whole time while I'm sitting in her room, they're texting me. They're like, who's over there? What are y'all doing? And so, I'm relying on what we're doing. I'm like, we're sitting here chilling, listening to music. And I let them know that Paul was over there. And they were like, does he have a gun? And I was like, I don't think so. So at the time, my phone service was going. I had Cricket Network, and it really was like a bad connection. So sometimes my service would go in and out. And so as I'm sitting there, I'm getting this feeling like, let's just tell them not to come. Like, I don't have a good feeling right now. So as I was going to text them to tell them not to come, my service had went out. So I couldn't text them or anything. And I'm just sitting there like, my nerves are bad. I'm like, something's about to happen. Like, I just had this feeling like something was about to happen. So next thing I know, Quez and Jaquavius comes to the window. Jarvis comes to the window, and Quez is like, you already know what the fuck is going on. Open this window or whatever. So 2 weeks before that, whenever the guys had robbed Maddie, her grandparents, that's who she was staying with, nailed her window halfway, so it wouldn't go all the way up after that. So Paul's like, the window doesn't come up, and Maddie's like just sitting there in shock, and I'm like, oh my God, because like, it's a gun that pointed all in the room, like.
Okay,
so I'm like, oh my God.
So Jaquez Porter, he's the one holding the gun, and he's at the window.
Yeah.
And what is he telling them?
Y'all already know what the fuck is going on. Open up this window.
Okay, so, and he's there in support of his friends, or his friend Keisha or Willow?
Yeah.
Is he dating these girls at the time, or what's going on with it? Or are they just good friends?
They're just good friends.
Okay, so he's bringing a gun, and so when you guys are in the car and you guys are driving to Madison's house, did you know he had a gun then?
No, I didn't.
And they basically told you, we're just going there to get our stuff back. That's it. So when you go in the room, okay. So he tells them, you know what the F is going on. So what happens next?
Okay, then there's a knock at Maddie's room door, and I look at her like, I gave her that look like, do you want me to open the door? So she shakes her head up and down. Now, mind you, I didn't know at the time that her dad was in the backyard the whole time, so I'm guessing when she shook her head yes, she thought it was her dad at the door. But when I opened the door and unlocked it or whatever, it was Willow and Keisha. So I was like 115 pounds at the time, soaking wet. So when they opened the door, I kind of knocked into the wall behind the door because they opened it so hard and pushed it open so hard. And so Willow goes over there by Maddie, and Maddie hits Willow. And so they start fighting on the bed. And then Keisha grabs the gun from Quez through the window, and she has it pointed at Paul, Maddie's boyfriend, while Maddie and Willow are fighting. And so that's when I got that good feeling like, Jazz, you need to leave now. So as I'm running out the room and I hit the front door, that's when I heard the gunshot and the scream. And when I'm going through the front door, Quiz and JJ are trying to come in, but when they heard the gunshot, we all turned around and ran. So they didn't even make it into the house. The only people that was in the house was me, Willow, Keisha, Paul, and Maddie.
Where did you run to?
Okay, so Willow and Keisha's house is across the street, but I ran in between this alleyway. Like, you know how it is. You have 1 minute remaining. Between two, like an alleyway is one side of houses and then the other side of houses. Well, I ran into that alleyway that leads to their backyard, and I went to their fence and unlocked the fence and ran through their yard into their house, into the room. And I remember, like, in my head, like, seeing on TV how, you strip out of your clothes after something like that happens. So I stripped out of my clothes and I start throwing on other clothes to put on. And as I'm doing that, Willow and Keisha comes in, and I guess they see me, what I was doing. And so they follow suit. They start stripping out of their clothes and changing as well. And so I'm sitting there. I'm like, y'all, we have to go. What just happened? And they're like, we have to wait on Quiz and JJ. I'm like, no, we have to go. And so I guess they decided I was serious about us leaving. So we grabbed the car keys, Jarvis' car keys. And as we were getting in the car and pulling off, so when we get in the car and we're driving off, Jarvis jumps in front of the car and Quiz jumps in the back of the car. So we had to stop the car, and they get in, and that's when we're driving off, and Keisha's like, I think I shot Maddie. And they're mad at me because they're like, why did you run out the house? And I'm like, I had this good feeling I had to go. And so I'm like, can y'all just drop me off? I don't even know, why I came with y'all. And so they dropped me off at my friend Morgan's house. And she lives by a lake. So when they dropped me off at her house, Quiz and JJ left. Willow and Keisha stayed with me. So I remember calling somebody for them because their mom was blowing them up and stuff because the police was looking for them and stuff like that. And I called somebody to come and pick them up to bring them back to their house because their mom told them to come back. And so the person that I called ended up coming and they left and I stayed there with Morgan. So I ended up telling her everything that happened. And so she's panicking with me and I'm crying and I'm shaking and I'm just like, oh my God, like I just knew that it was over for me. Like I just knew something bad happened to Maddie. At that point, I was just regretting everything. Like, I was regretting that I ever went with them. I was regretting going into her house. I was regretting everything. And so my mom called me not too long after Willow and Keisha left, and she's like, Jazz, where are you? The police just left here looking for you. They came through our house looking everywhere in the house for you. What's going on? And so in that point of time, me and my mom weren't really close, but because, we were trying to put our relationship back together because, like I told you before, that's when I was trying to get myself together after smoking weed, hanging out with older people, leaving the house when she told me not to. I was trying to regain her trust back and stuff. So, but I didn't really want to tell her what happened, so I didn't. And so I was like, okay, I'm about to come back to the house. So I remember Morgan getting in her car to drive me home. We got in her car to drive me home. And when I get home, my mom's like, tell me what happened, tell me what happened. So I really didn't want to tell her what happened, so I didn't. So we get in the car to go to the police station. And when we get there, she's in a room with me. And, the police were really talking into riddles like I didn't understand. So when they asked me did I want my mom to stay in the room, I said no. But I wasn't realizing that they were asking, do I want her to stay in the room while I'm telling them what happened. So I didn't know that's what they meant. You know what I mean? Like, so when I said no, they got my mom out the room, and that's when they started questioning me.
When did you find out that Madison was dead?
At the police station, one of the detectives were like, she's dead, right?
What was your first thought when he told you that?
Like, I was just like, no, she can't be dead. She can't be dead. And I started shaking and I started crying. And I started screaming to the top of my lungs.
What happens next? What are they telling you?
They're telling me that I'm going to jail. And they leave out the room and they come back in and they're like, you're charged with capital murder and your bond is $1 million. And I was like, I just kept on repeating, I didn't kill anybody. And I was shaking and I was crying. And they brought me to the bottom of the police station into this room. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I remember stretching my shirt out like I was just screaming and crying.
So at this point now, you're in jail?
I'm at the police station still.
When do they take you to jail?
Whenever they put me, Quiz, JJ, Keisha, and Willow into the same room, they were telling us that we were going to be in jail for 2 years until we got sentenced and stuff, and they took our fingerprints and everything, and then they put us in this van. And I remember having handcuffs on, and they were hitting sharp corners in the car, taking us to the jail. And all of us had scratches on our wrists, and because the handcuffs dug into our skin by the way they were driving.
You get to the jail, and I guess they strip search you.
They strip searched us. They took our picture again. They made me take my wig off, and they're like, welcome to your new home, is what they told me.
Were you in jail with juveniles, or did they put you where the adults are?
They put me where the adults were. I was 23 and 1, so I came out an hour a day by myself. I was in the cell by myself. And And I remember having women come to my cell door banging on it, like let's say they knew the family or they knew her or anything like that. They would come to my cell door banging on it, telling me they wish they can get their hands on me. I'm gonna spend the rest of my life in prison. And just they would tell me crazy stuff like that.
How long did you stay in jail for?
I stayed in jail 7.5 months. I got locked up February 24th, 2020. I didn't get out until October 7th of 2020.
Now, your family, they bailed you out.
Yeah.
And they also got you...
After I got to jail,
and they...
the day after I got out of jail, they took my bond, which was $1 million, and I didn't get it back until 7.5 months later.
And they also paid for a lawyer for you.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, so you're free during the trial. Was anybody else free, or were they all in jail?
Jaquez Porter got out a week after I did.
Okay. So both of you guys get out. So the first time you see him, what do you say to him?
We were actually this is what happened. So my brother and my guy friend, which is my boy best friend, I hung out with guys a lot because my brother, he was 4 years older than me, so we hung out with almost like the same people. So his friends eventually became my friends. So they were like, we're going to pull up on Demarius' homeboy. And I'm like, okay. So the whole time I didn't know this homeboy was Quez. So when we pulled up, I'm like, oh my God, we both had like a shocked look on our face. And then we smiled at each other, and it's like we hugged each other so hard for so long. And it's like we had that connection. Like I was like, oh my God, like I was so happy to see him out, you know. So we got in the car and we started smoking weed and stuff, listening to music, and he ended up taking me home, and we just connected from there.
And so now at this time, you guys are all being charged with capital murder. You and Jaquez Porter are out, but Jarvis Cook, Keisha Blackman, and her sister Willow are incarcerated.
Yes.
Okay. Did they try to get you to testify? Did you testify?
Yes, I did.
And you basically told, so you're on the stand at court during the trial, and you basically, I'm assuming you told the court basically what you're telling us.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So you end up getting sentenced to how long?
20 years manslaughter.
Okay, so you pled to a lower charge, manslaughter, and you got 20 years. And the day of the sentencing, did they lock you up, or did they give you a date to turn yourself in?
Well, when I went to court a year before I got sentenced, they asked me that I wanted to plead guilty to manslaughter, and I said yes, and they took me into custody then a year before I got sentenced.
Okay, so your lawyer told you, take the deal.
Yeah.
Okay, you get 20 years. When do you get parole?
I get paroled in January 7th, 2032.
What happens to Keisha and Willow Blackman?
Willow has to do 15 mandatory years. She got 30 years, but she gets paroled after 15 years. Keisha Blackman got 40 years suspended, 30 to serve mandatory. Jaquez Porter got life with parole, and Jarvis Cook got 25 mandatory years.
Okay, so you said, so the actual person that pulled the trigger is Willow?
No, Keisha Blackman.
Oh, Keisha Blackman, excuse me. So she got 30 years, and so I'll put on the screen when her parole date is. Jaquez Porter, this guy got life in prison with the chance of parole. Why did he get life and everybody else got, 15 or 20?
Well, he took it to trial, and I guess, that's a tricky situation, so they gave him life with parole. That was like, if he did lose, that's what he was going to get, so he lost trial, and that's what they gave him.
Okay, so even if he didn't go to trial, he was going to get that anyways?
No, I think he was looking at 30 mandatory years.
Okay, 30 mandatory years, and so he rolled the dice, and he got life. Have you seen, since you've been incarcerated, have you been locked up with any of the other, either the sisters, Keisha or Willow?
I've been in the zone with Keisha Blackman, and I've been in the zone with Willow Blackman before.
So, since you testified, what did they say to you?
Nothing. All of us had to.
So they weren't mad at you that you. So they weren't mad at you that they, like they wanted to beat you up or anything?
No. But me and Willow Blackman ended up getting into a fight because she was telling people, like, I told on her and stuff like that. But really, she was the first one too,
Okay. So
testify.
So you've been incarcerated now for 5 years?
Yeah.
So what's your, you will get out eventually. What's
I will.
What's your plan for when you get out? Like, what are you going to do?
Well, when I get out, I want to take a mental break from prison, like get my mind together, because like I have a whole bunch of problems inside of my head, and being in prison really fucks my head up. But I plan on getting my mind together, myself together, and I want to start my own business because I can cook my ass off. So I want to start a restaurant business, a catering business, stuff like that, and see where that goes in my life. And I really want to put all of this behind me. So I might actually change my name when I get out of here.
Wait, speak up a little bit louder. You said you're going to do what?
I said I think I'm going to change my name once I get out of here.
Going to change your name? Start.
Yeah.
You basically, I guess, just kind of start new and. Well, you're definitely going to be young enough to do so. So,
Yeah.
I sometimes feel like when people say wrong place, wrong time, it kind of like it's overused. But in your case, I mean, if there is such a thing as the wrong place, the wrong time, yeah, that would definitely be you because, I mean, you got 3 best friends and you're kind of torn between the two, and you thought maybe they would just, I don't know, maybe at the worst get into a little bit of a fight, and then they'll say sorry later on. And I mean, you didn't know that you were bringing in somebody and they had a gun and whatever, blah blah blah. An very unfortunate situation. There's no, everyone's a loser in this. A family loses their daughter, their granddaughter, their niece, and then the people, involved in this, everybody in the car, they all lose as well. Well, listen, I thank you for taking the time to speak with me, and I wish you all the best moving forward. And when you get out, you'll barely be 30, and 30 is the new 20, I guess is what they say. So, But yeah, thank you again for speaking with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.